Welcome back to The Naked Doctor this week. I'm Dr. Tammy.
I'm Allie.
I'm Lauren.
We have a great show for you today. It's the stress show.
Stress.
Yes.
Everybody loves stress. You know, it's so funny because I think stress is such an overused word. I have a little confession to make. Stress is not a bad thing.
Oh.
Do explain.
Yeah. Well, stress in the sense of you can have physiologic stress, you can have chemical stress, you can have emotional stress, but stress in the sense of having our bodies constantly responding to stimuli in our environment is not a bad thing. It drives you to do those things that you need to get done.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In preparation.
It's like that natural reminder or like you said, preparation for whatever is coming.
Yeah.
I guess it's like sometimes like one of the biggest things about stress is like not stressing over things that you can't control, because if you're doing that, you're not being present and it's affecting your daily life and you're not being productive at that point.
And emotional stress is one of the biggest culprits for declining health, or the problems that we have, because all of that leads to physiological changes, all the emotional changes. So we're going to talk a little bit today about some different supplements and some things that we can do on the show about how to handle those chemical stresses or those physiologic stresses. But one of the ways that I like to think about emotional stress and help you have that perspective and be more present is the 5 rule. So is this a 5-minute problem? That would be like losing your keys, or forgetting something that's just not really that important. Or the 5-hour rule, which losing your keys and being late to a party or to work would be more of a 5-hour stressor. Or is this a 5-week? You know, that could be losing your job. Or is this a 5-month? That could be grieving a loved one. Or a 5-year, you know, which could be, you know, something really catastrophic. So there's some of the things we're going to talk about on the show today. And we have a great new show open with the drone. So excited.
I know, me too.
Yeah, super cool. So if you didn't see the show open, make sure to watch next week and you can see the drone.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Well,
I think it's so cool. I want my own.
Many more cool shots coming with the drone.
I love it.
Super stoked.
All right, we'll be right back on The Naked Doctor. Stay tuned.
A few months ago, I went to Dr. Tammy with some foot pain. I had inflammation on the tendons. She recommended PRP. And we tried it. A week later, I had no pain. Till now, I've had no residual pain. I think it worked very well.
At Christmas time, I went in and I saw her, and we did a stem cell PRP and in my hip and my shoulder, and it was like a week later, it was, I felt so good. I wasn't able to sleep with my arm up or anything because it hurt so bad to put my hand behind my arm, and the joint pain is all gone in both areas.
After using Dr. Tammy's services, I've been extremely pleased. I've had nothing but good things to say about her, and I will continue using her in the future.
I recommend, if you're just feeling old, tired, and the daily grind is getting you down, just go see her. She's life-changing.
Hi, welcome back to The Stress Show. I'm Dr. Tammy.
I'm Allie.
I'm Lauren.
And stress. We were just talking about perceived stress, emotional stress, chemical stress. You know, one of the things...
The rules of 5.
Rules of 5, yeah. One of the things I think we were just talking about this morning in our staff meeting, because we always do that the days we film our shows, is you were talking about coaching people. And one of the things we do at our office is coaching people. And so we were talking about something that seems simple, like relationship troubles or trouble with a boyfriend or significant other. And I thought that was really insightful that you guys said that impacts the way you eat. You know, when I think about coaching, I think they're meeting with you about, you know, measuring body weight and body fat and what they're eating, and really all that emotional stuff has a huge impact on your weight and your health. And
it's like the depth of it, you know. It's like, because if you don't unravel those things and figure out, maybe you're not that everybody is who is overweight is because of that, but it's a big thing, you know. It's like you kind of lose yourself in that, and then you know, whether food is a coping mechanism or whatever the case. If that is the case, then you have to figure out the root issue and help understand and clear that up before you can even get to the exterior of the results of why you're stress eating. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's something that we do, and we just, you know, it's a full inside out, you know, coaching process.
It really is inside out. You know, when your kids are young, and I hope people don't really do this anymore, but rewarding with food. Because then that sets that brain up to, when, you know, to reward self with food, or to heal self, or to make self feel good with food. I mean, food is so important, and I'm passionate about nutrition, as we all know. But those relationships can really be.
That's a good point. You know, actually, one day, Donnie, my son, who's 14 now, is like in grade school. He got this letter that came home that said their consequences were XYZ if they did this or this, you know, and their rewards were like one trip to the candy box or 2 trips. It's like all their rewards.
It's interesting.
Were all
sugar
related, not even just like they got an apple or they got, you know, it was all just like a Tootsie Roll. Or
that's an
trip to the
interesting
candy
concept.
box.
Yeah, that's I
like,
hadn't
what
really
the-
thought about that, about it being, because you're like, ooh, if you do this, you'll get ice cream or whatever.
I don't
you know?
do it because I was reared that way,
Yeah.
and I had some struggles with some eating disorders, and ergo I undid all that, unraveled it, and I just never wanted to encourage my child with that because of the consequences. Pardon me. There's so
consider
many
myself-
other ways. Yeah.
I consider myself lucky because when I'm stressed, I don't eat.
Yeah, me either.
So that's a beautiful thing. But then, like, just today as we were getting ready, I'm like, I'm ready for a neck lift, and you guys were like, you need to gain some weight.
Yeah, so eat a cheeseburger.
Yeah, exactly. Cause
Yes,
that's what Dr. Box told me the other
I
day
know.
when we were doing the threads.
That
Because
sounds
he's like,
really
I
neat,
just
too.
need a cheeseburger. But
Yeah, so don't let the stress of your neck make you not eat.
Yeah.
How about eat into
More
that stress? You know, flip that. No, not really. You just,
I think about like the last 4 months of my life. So I, went through a relationship breakup. My mom died. I moved my house. I moved my office. It was just like every major life transition that you can go through, I went through. So like, I think I'm doing pretty good for that. But I think it's interesting. There was a study, and I think it was done back in the 60s, and they followed people for quite a long while. And if I remember right, it was parents of children who were in long-term children hospital type situations, cancer, that kind of thing. And they asked the parents how they were coping and how they were doing. And what they found was the parents that said, oh, we're doing great, we have faith, everything's going to work out, that were just really positive, and whatever, faith is a lot of different things, but just faith that everything was going to be okay. And then the people who were just devastated, who had no family support, who were just like the single moms who were just like struggling to make it and just saw everything really dark, they went back and they looked at those families like years later, and like it was crazy. Like there was a 50% rate of those parents who had actually like died from the stress. It was just like, oh, and here's another interesting thing. I had a patient not too long ago who told me that you can actually die of a broken heart. And I'm like, yeah, you're sad. Yeah, you're depressed. Yeah, it could create some chemicals. There is actually a heart enzyme that is released in extreme prolonged grief that literally causes heart failure.
wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? I looked it up. I mean, there's a ton. So you can go Google
Dying from heart
dying
rate.
from grief, heart grief, and it's literally like a heart attack that happens from that. So
stress management, guys, is a big deal.
And I think awareness is one of the biggest things with stress. So what causes you stress? Sometimes you need to just make different choices.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to get a different significant other in your life. And I'm not saying
Or
go
just
get divorced.
Or just not. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just recognizing specifically the things that are the root cause of your stress.
Yeah.
Because
Journaling helps.
You
with
take
that.
yourself with you in every relationship too. So if you just leave one relationship looking for something to be better, that doesn't work. You have to identify what your triggers are,
Right.
That's right.
what your unrest is about.
Yeah, because when you start with one, it's like, if you don't, I mean, you can really narrow it down to looking at every single relationship that you have, or even like your work situation or your non-work situation, and being a stay-at-home mom or whatever the case. It's like looking at every specific situation and figuring out within those situations, like, what makes you happy and what doesn't make you happy. Because those things in each situation, each relationship, all the things that aren't making you happy are adding to your stress bank.
I think a lot of people have issue from stress by poor time management.
Yes. Oh, and just being organized.
Yes.
Nothing stresses me out more than not being able to find my keys. So I have a certain
me too.
place in my pocket, and I have one of those key fobs. So it's not like I need my keys to start my car, but I keep it in that one pocket, or just having your closet organized when you get.
I can't work. I can't get anything done until everything is tidy at my house. I just nothing moves forward until the things are straightened. It's just a mental thing for me. I have to have things in such a way that
it's like indirect stress, that even if you're not like directly thinking about it, you're like, oh, my mind is clouded or whatever, because everything's not tidy. Totally understandable. I think that a lot of people could probably relate to that.
I wish it weren't that way, because there are times that I need to just leave that and go do my other thing, and I have that stress of being able to figure out a way to let that go.
But if it clears your mind, you're going to be so much more productive when you go
I feel
that.
that way. But there are times when you're just like, I do not have time to
minutes.
unload the dishwasher. I need to go to work right now. Or I need to make this phone call.
Things,
and then, there's that stuff that I have to decide whether it is beneficial, or is this something that is that's an impediment to me getting what I need to get done.
I think self-care state is huge with stress too. If you're tired or you're hungry or you're cold or you're hot, it's kind of interesting because I wore these big baggy clothes today because these were just really comfy. And I thought, oh, how can you really speak to self-care states? You were mentioning that you felt like that, maybe was scratchy or something like that, or you didn't like the fit or something. And so that builds your stress because, just little things like that. You go to the office with a tie on, and you're like, oh, that tie's too tight,
For interviews, they say never wear anything brand new that you've never worn before. A lot of people buy a new dress for an interview, and they say don't ever do that. Wear something that is a tried and true suit that is comfortable, and a comfortable shoes. Do you think that would be just obvious, something obvious people would know, but just hearing it is good. There's lots of little tricks.
Yeah.
So what is this thing?
So, so this is the prayer bowl. So this thing is pretty cool, and you can just kind of meditate. Meditate's whatever you want to be for you. Couple little and then you kind of do this. Oh, and it vibrates. That's so cool. So it just kind of clears your head a little bit. I'm going to let you guys talk about breathing here in just a second. But, it's interesting. One of the things that I want to plug the two of you about is that at our Healing Arts Center, working with coaches is so important. And if you're not putting the right fuel in your body, if you're eating junk, and we're going to talk about supplements here in just a minute, because Lauren and I like to eat a little bit outside the box, so we have to have supplements to cheat. But Allie's really good at the nutrition aspect and eating from the rainbow, and she believes you are what you eat, and she can really help people with that. And especially if you have kids in school, with ADD or whatever, what are you feeding them before they go to school in the morning? And then they say they're stressed out, and then they want to put them on medicine, and you're feeding them Captain Crunch and big old thing of milk, which is nothing but sugar, and
it's not fair.
It's not fair. And then you want to medicate them to bring that down. So I think that's really important. And Lauren, you are huge with emotional stress, and you understand, that the relationship boundaries and, narcissism to codependency, and a really solid foundation of that. I just want to shout out to both of you that, you've helped me so much through some really stressful situations. So, whatever challenges you're having health related, and you both are really big into fitness. So I always say, don't recreate the wheel. Find somebody who knows what they're doing and work with them. So that's, we're taking new patients all the time. So that's my shameless plug. So get yourself in. If you struggle by yourself and you think you're more stressed because you don't know where to start sometimes.
We just try to really maximize on all levels of, emotional, food, fitness, doctor, hormones.
Yeah.
Hormone plug. So you gotta always throw the hormone plug in there. Which actually, crazy enough, like we say every time, it's you know,
But
a lot
it is
bigger.
that important.
Yeah,
it is that important.
It's a huge factor that, you know, I've learned just from being around here. So it's a
And I've
super
learned
cool.
Well,
that
and
because I
stress
lived
is chemical. You know, it's hormonal as far as cortisol, and oxytocin is the hormone from the brain, which you can increase. It combats stress. You can increase that by a 20-second hug.
Yeah, it's like on Trolls.
Trolls.
You know, it's hug time.
Hug time.
You should set hug time to every
Yeah.
10 minutes. And ding, timer.
Having an animal, you know, even making eye contact with somebody for 20 seconds, if it's somebody you like, can
I like you.
increase the oxytocin. Let's stare at each other.
On that eyes, I can't do that exercise. I'll have to.
She's like, no, uncomfortable.
do that.
Don't look into my soul. No.
You know, there's some people who are taking these initiatives to take dogs into nursing homes. and
Absolutely. Those
you
people
know.
don't get touched at all.
What a great idea.
I
I
love
should
that.
take my puppy. Oh, that's a great idea.
And it really
Side
helps
notes,
them in
not
that.
out loud.
It
Yeah.
improves
That's
their
beautiful.
overall wellness.
beautiful,
It helps
yeah.
them. And so, yeah, I know statistically that your life expectancy does increase by having a pet. Not a husband, necessarily. It'll just seem longer.
Unless
if you have
he's
a
your
spouse.
pet.
Being we're the two single women on the set, we're probably like, oh.
But yeah, my dog, I mean, he knows. I come home and he's like, what is it today? You look good, but okay.
See, but you can find a husband like that too. I'm just kidding. You don't want a husband like that. That is your pet. No, you
At
don't.
the Humane Society?
No,
I might actually start looking for my husband, next husband at the
Oh,
Humane
man.
Society.
That's thinking outside of the box. So anyway, y'all know we always get off track.
Yeah, we always tease
We
about being the
digress
old
and
old cat ladies.
yeah,
Yeah,
we may end up that way.
yeah.
I think it might be time for a break.
I think it is. All right, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to
Probably
come
way
back and talk about supplements that you can cheat your way out of physical stress.
Yes.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dr. T.
That's right. All right. Hi, welcome back to the Naked Doctor. I'm Dr. Tammy.
I'm Allie.
I'm Lauren.
I was going to ring us in and I forgot. See what stress does sometimes?
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-ling.
It's a little warm in here, so I had to turn the air down. And I was like, I'm going to ring us back in with that. But stress short wires your brain, hijacks your thinking processes.
Maybe we could ring us out.
Yeah, we can do that.
When-
Oh,
Never.
let's do. I have a funny story. You know, I was at a friend's house yesterday, and he was trying to teach me how to ride a
Dougie?
motorcycle. Well, and he's riding on the back of it, and he's like, "You do this, and this is the clutch," and I'm trying to think about it in a standard car, and I'm trying to translate like you would German to Spanish, and finally my brain just blew a gasket, and then he was stressed because he's like, "Brake, brake, brake," you know, because we were gonna hit some rocks or whatever, and I said, "Stop! I have to get off right now." He's like, "No, you got this. You can do this." I'm like, "No, I have to get off right now," and he was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, I understood in that moment that when you get that stressed, the best thing you can do is get off, walk away, go clear your head, come back. You know, in relationship, it's like that. Sometimes when you because what happens is the hormones and the chemicals in your brain hijack your higher thinking. So even with like children, if you're disciplining your children and you're doing it from a place of fear or anger, your stress is so high, their stress is so high, you're not thinking, they're not thinking, you're not teaching them anything. You're just causing stress and anxiety and destroying the relationship. So I think that's really important to be mindful of that really high stress when you feel it. Just honor yourself
Pump the
and
brakes.
step away.
Pump the brakes. Yeah.
And nobody's going to die. If you just go, okay, for 10
Well,
minutes,
if you're on
I'm
the
gonna go
airplane,
breathe.
I'm gonna get
Well,
stressed
you might,
out.
yeah, jump out of
Walk
there.
away. I'll be back.
No, you jump off the plane, right?
In some situations, you kind of have to just push through, but
So I want to talk about a few of our supplements. One is this daily metabolic support, and I'm all about cheats because, like I said, Lauren, I'm throwing you under the bus too. We like to eat a little more loosely around the edges. So we exercise a lot,
We
so
like
that
a
makes
chocolate.
up for it. But yeah, we do like some chocolate. So I made this metabolic
Okay.
pack, which also helps with weight loss and all things metabolism. But there are several things in here that can really help with stress, which is important if you're trying to lose weight or get your metabolism back on. One of them is fish oil. People don't think about fish oil. Fish oil is omega-3s, which has an anti-inflammatory effect. A lot of the stress in the brain is chemical, almost like seizure activity. It's just really heightened, and so that's really helpful for that because it calms down some of those neural sheaths that
Yeah.
go along those nerves.
Yeah.
Magnesium is wonderful. Everybody knows a magnesium at
Love my
bedtime, Epsom
magnesium.
salt bath. You know, it's so calming, but it actually calms the smooth muscles and any tension that you have in your face. A lot of times people get headaches and migraines and stuff like that. It's also got B12 and folate, which are B vitamins that help with the adrenal glands processing chemical
B12,
stress.
everybody needs B12. I'm just going to tell you right now.
And
you
vitamin D.
cannot get it enough. You can't get it enough in your food. So I don't care how good
Magnesium
you are.
too. We're just so
Yeah.
minerally depleted in our food.
It's just really, if you do nothing but those three things,
Yeah.
the fish oil and the magnesium and the B12, you'd be doing yourself a favor.
So we do food sensitivity testing as well, and we can identify foods that trigger stress in the body, and that stress that gets triggered causes the cortisol response for belly fat. So I always call it the test that identifies foods that make you fat, because belly fat
Yeah.
is huge with cortisol and stress. So once we identify those foods with a blood test, and we could do a whole show on that someday.
So cool.
We use this detox, which is a lot of things that help inflammation in the gut. So if you've heard about leaky gut or anything with inflammation, that can be a huge amount of chemical stress in the body that can really affect you.
And that helps. The detox stuff helps just quicken the process of that, right?
Healing
Of
the gut,
Okay.
right. So it's fabulous.
Yeah, and it
there's a lot of
eases the
stuff in
stress
there,
that's
too.
on the liver as well.
Exactly, yeah. A lot of liver detox supplements and stuff like that. So this is Reclaim Calm, and I actually formulated this for its name, Reclaim Calm. But one of the things that's in here is niacin, which is a B vitamin. And if you've ever taken a lot of niacin, you know, it can cause that flush. It's an allergic reaction, but it causes that weird flush. But one of the interesting things about niacin is the guy who invented AA, the 12-step program.
Yeah.
He actually wanted to incorporate niacin, and there's a whole little chemistry thing that we don't have time to go in today. I'll probably do a YouTube video and you guys can go watch it. But it's a chemical reaction that happens in the brain with addiction, which addiction can be related to stress, and obsessive thinking can be stress related. But he wanted to use niacin. So we use niacin, magnesium, and fish oil in this combination, and it's awesome
I
for
remember when you
stress.
shared that with me. She talked about it with us. I was like,
Super
that is
interesting.
so-
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then they wanted to make it about the 12 steps, so then, which is cool.
Yeah.
But
Which also
they
is
left out a little bit of
Right.
neuroscience and things that could help people without drugs,
Right.
which, you know,
could be
pharmaceutical companies don't like that. But so this is just a fish oil here. D3 is actually,
And so, like,
oh, I
what's
just
it-
dropped the D3.
How much fish oil do we? I mean, let's talk about
Oh
how
gosh,
much.
I usually recommend, we have some in both of these supplements, but especially for inflammation, if you've got joint pain and stuff, which we're not talking about that, but pain can cause stress, right? So if you have any kind of pain or discomfort, inflammation wise, sometimes I'll have people take 4 or 6 a day. You have to be careful if you're on blood thinners or aspirin or
Right.
that kind of thing, because it can cause some bruising and that kind of thing.
Well, go ahead. I'll ask the
Oh.
question when you're done.
D3, vitamin D is actually a hormone that can cause deficiencies, can cause hormone imbalances, but can also cause your immune system to be deficient, and you need your immune system to fight chemical stress. So
Everybody needs to take a vitamin D supplement. Everybody.
Everybody.
I don't care how much sun you get. Every
Everybody
single
at
person.
test is low.
So true.
Every single
Everybody.
person.
I've never seen anybody.
I was about to
that
say, have
hadn't.
you ever seen a test on anybody that
Ever.
was not?
Not
Never. Do you know how many
supplementing.
people that she's tested? Every single person needs a vitamin D supplement.
And some of that depression that you're experiencing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When they
I've
before
had
they
Even
depression go away with
sickness.
vitamin
general
D.
doctors will give you that antidepressant medicine without even checking your vitamin D first.
Oh, right. Or thyroid or anything.
Well,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
And you think about, okay, like just consistently across the board, every year it's like the time that you're like the most like whatever is in the winter.
when you don't
right?
get sun for
exactly.
conversion of vitamin D.
Exactly. So in the summer you're happy, you go on vacation, you're happy, you're on the beach, you're happy. Yeah, the beach is cool, whatever. But also like in the summer, just in general, it's just a happier time
Yeah.
because of the sun.
Yeah.
is.
You are getting vitamin D. So take your vitamin D, and I help you with illness, all that stuff, every single thing, because it starts there. Just
And
take
get your
vitamin
levels
D.
checked, because it is a fat soluble vitamin. You can get too much, so I highly recommend you come get tested.
Absolutely.
And we'll make recommendations on what the right
how much you
amount
need,
is. Yeah, absolutely. It's just
One thing I
the
wanted
best
to
thing
touch
do.
on is on food, and doing the food sensitivities. When you're eating those wrong things, some of the inflammation can triggers causes the joint pain that is from the wrong foods that you're eating.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sugar's the
Which
number
causes
one.
stress, yeah.
Sugar's the number one inflammation causer in the body. It's over alcohol.
Yeah. And there's all sorts of other things, you know, and we can even do a bigger food test, and I haven't done those in a while, but kids who have attention deficit, or they have focus problems, or they have hyperactivity, you can test for MSG and red dyes and things like that. So, I mean, there could be so many things that could be causing anxiety, which then causes stress, that you're consuming that you don't even know. So a lot of things that you can look at. Yeah.
Good tips.
Yeah, very cool. All right, it's probably time to take a little break. So we're going to take a little break, and we'll come back and chat some more about all this cool stuff and stress. And we're back. It's just so fun to do.
You should just let it keep things.
I know, Tina,
I love it.
We're back.
Sounds good.
And we're back, and we're actually leaving. It's been a great show this week. We love you all very much. Hope you have a not stress-free week, because remember we said in the beginning, stress is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
It can actually motivate you. We did our comfort zone show where you shave
Don't
your
completely
head.
become apathetic to life.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, have a
you
little
need
bit
a little
of
bit of triggering to do certain things. But if you feel like you have struggled to manage and you want natural management for it, and you don't, and sometimes even all those pills and prescriptions that doctors give you don't help you feel any better when you're depressed or anxious.
Yeah.
And so we can help with all that.
We'll help you
Get
kind
to
of
the
narrow
root
down.
cause.
Yeah, it's like we'll help you kind of
Yeah.
narrow the focus on like what specifically it is that's causing that, and then help you figure out a plan of action to unravel that and get outside of that and figure out what levels are good for you and what where you can allow some stress and then get rid of some stress.
And it's so exciting.
Yes.
It's so exciting.
Oh, I love it. I just love coming and helping people.
Come build friendship and with a community
Oh, I
of
call
support.
it not patients, but family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel that way too. Yeah.
So check us out on Facebook, the Naked Doctor page, Instagram, YouTube. We have all sorts of resources, videos we do all the time. Just amazing stuff.
Any topics you want to talk about, or
tell us something
questions
you wanna
answered
talk
or
about.
anything like that? Let us know.
We got some fun stuff coming up for the summer. We have a stem cell seminar coming up in the next few weeks. You'll want to check that out. I think Thursday after next.
Yes.
So call the office. We can give you details on that. 1-800-479-6435. A little plug. Just call us and say, hey, what do you got coming up for educational stuff? We're going to start our classes back in the fall. And we have a seminar coming up in August. We'll be back on health and hormones and talking about stress hormones and belly fat. Yeah, absolutely. So you want to stay tuned for all that. We love you all very much. Have a great and blessed week, and we'll see you back here next week on The Naked Doctor.
Thanks for watching.